Cold email is still the best way to book consistent sales calls for your business in 2024. Yet I talk to business owners every single day who struggle to run cold email campaigns that get consistent results. Now, the thing is, when I actually take a look at their outreach and audit their campaigns, I see the same mistakes happening over and over again. And that's why in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 biggest cold email mistakes that 99% of business owners make. And most importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly how to fix those mistakes so you can start booking qualified sales calls instantly and so that you can start scaling your business predictably.
Okay, let's dive into the 5 biggest cold email mistakes that 99% of business owners make and how you can fix these mistakes if you're already doing them or how you can avoid these mistakes. Now, I just want to mention that some of these mistakes are going to sound super obvious and you're probably going to be thinking that there's no way I would ever make this mistake or there's no way that other people actually make these mistakes. Like the fact that they're so basic and obvious is one of the reasons that people overlook them. Okay, so all I want from you is to actually pay attention to every single detail. The first mistake, and possibly the most important one, is a lack of market research. Okay, this is before you start running any campaigns. This is everything, all the due diligence that you need to do before you launch campaigns. Okay, so one of the most important components is knowing your ICP inside out. That is one of the most crucial determinants of a cold email campaign's success. Okay, and it's knowing your ICP inside out. So what is your ICP? It's your ideal client profile, your target audience, the people on the other end of your email. Okay, the people receiving your email, you can call it however you want to call it. And the only way for you to know who these people are is by doing a lot of research. Okay, you need to know everything about this group of people. You need to know everything about the companies, and you also need to know everything about the individuals. Okay, that's the only way for you to actually build an accurate lead list and for you to write a relevant script that is targeted towards that group of people. If you don't know all this information, you're just going to be playing guessing games. And when you're playing guessing games with cold email, it just leads to no calls booked at all. So most people think that research just means knowing what industry these companies operate in, okay, or just knowing what type of companies these are. For example, I'm targeting marketing agencies or companies in the financial sector. Okay, that's not enough. You need to dive in deeper. You need to know from a company point of view how many employees they have. Do they have 1 to 10 employees? Do they have 11 to 50? Or are you going even bigger than that? What else you need to know about the companies? So it could be certain keywords. For example, if you're targeting marketing agencies, there's so many different types of marketing agencies, so many different types of companies that fall within that industry. Like, do you want anything specific? Are you talking about TikTok agencies, YouTube? Is it Instagram? Is it Meta? Is it Google Ads? Like, is it web design? Is it mobile app development? Like, what type of agency are you actually targeting? Because each of these agencies has a different offer. They target different people. They offer different services. They would need a different script. They have different pain points. They have everything about these companies is different. So you need to know like who exactly you're targeting. And from an individual point of view, when it comes to the people within these companies, you just need to know like what are the job titles. So like who are these people? If you're targeting companies that have 1 to 10 employees, you're most likely going to be targeting the founders. Okay, so you would go for job titles like the CEO, the founder. It could be owner. There's like a couple of job titles that you could use. But when it comes to 11 to 50 employees, for example, it could be, well, depending on what you're offering, you would go for another C-level executive. It could be the CMO, the CTO, the CFO. You could go for head of marketing, VP of marketing. You would go like the founder, the CEO, whatever, probably wouldn't make those decisions in a larger company. So once again, the script would be different because now you're not talking to the founder of the company, you're talking to someone else. So everything changes once again. Once your prospect opens your email, they check, is this addressed specifically to me? Is this relevant to my needs? Is this actually helpful? And for you to be able to write an email script that answers those questions, you need to do your research. Okay, you cannot possibly write a script that is addressed specifically to a certain individual if you don't know everything about that individual. And you cannot make it relevant to that individual, and you cannot possibly help someone if you don't know what they need help with. If your email doesn't clearly address those questions, it's going to be involved. Okay, you need to carry out extensive research. Extensive research means pinpointing your ICP, okay? It's everything that we just mentioned. I didn't mention location, so obviously you need to know where these companies are located. You need to know, the industry, job title, a couple of technologies. So for example, if you're targeting e-com brands, like what type of technologies do they use? Do they use Shopify? Do they use any other sort of technology? If you're targeting info product businesses, like what type of technologies are they using? Are they using Circle, Podia, School? Like what type of technologies are they using to host their courses on? You need to know all this information. You need to understand their business inside out, pain points, desires. What is their current state and what is their ideal state? You need to know these two pieces of information. You need to know essentially, in simple terms, like where they're currently at and where they want to be. And the reason why you need to know this is because you need to position your script as the solution or as the vehicle that's going to take them from their current state to their desired state. And the only way for you to do this is by knowing what these two states actually are. And then once you know these things, you also identify certain obstacles and certain intervention points. Okay, so you know the states. So now you need to know what the obstacle is. So like, why are people at their current state and not at their desired state? Like, what is actually stopping them from getting there? Do they not have a consistent, steady flow of leads if you're offering lead gen? Like if it's an e-com brand and you're offering marketing services, whether it's meta ads or whatever, like what is the issue? Are they not ranking high enough on Google? Is their website shit? Do they have a low retention rate? What is the issue? Why are they not meeting their sales targets? Like what is the issue? You need to know, first of all, what is important to these people. So if you're offering web design, like what do people care about? Do they care about site speed? Do they care about retention rate? Do they care about increasing their average order value through the layout of the website? If it's an e-com brand, like what do they care about? And then how exactly can you help these people? Like honestly, like there's so many more things that I could keep on going on about. And you just need to know all these pieces of information. You need to do your research. Okay, and then you need to craft an offer that solves this problem. Okay, so now you know their current state, you know their desired state, you know exactly what is stopping them from reaching their desired state. Now you need to craft an offer that essentially positions your service as the vehicle that's going to take them from one state to the other. Okay, if you don't do your market research, your scripts are going to be irrelevant and your lead list is going to be inaccurate. Okay, you can't possibly write a script that is going to be relevant to any group of people if you don't know who these people are and what they're going through. Okay, so that's the first mistake. The second mistake is bad scripts. Okay, this obviously ties into the previous point as well, but this is now from a script point of view. Okay, so it goes without saying that if you don't do your market research, your scripts are going to be shit anyway. But if we just isolate the scripts, so let's say you've done your market research and whatever, there are still ways that you can basically make your scripts really bad even though you've done your research. Okay, so the first thing is no personalization. Okay, so that could be either using the variables on whether it's Smart Lead, Instantly, or whatever, basically just personalizing the email to that individual. Okay, so the aim with cold email is to be able to send a massive volume of emails, but make sure that every email seems sort of personalized to the point where you don't necessarily need someone to actually believe that you sat there and wrote this thing manually, because if it's relevant enough to them, they don't actually care if you did this manually or through a software. It really doesn't make a difference. But just the fact that maybe someone would have that 1% thought that maybe you actually did write this for me because it's just, so personalized, that helps. So how do you personalize it? It could be just talking about maybe their location. It goes without saying that you're obviously going to include their name and stuff, but like, if you're targeting marketing agencies in London, it could just be something like, I was searching for marketing agencies in London or the top marketing agencies in London. I came across your website. So that just goes to show that you've done a bit of research. Maybe you know where these people are located. So make sure you have that. A lot of people just don't include personalization, or they think that personalization just means saying, hey, Alex, like that's not enough. So the other issue is that it's usually too long. People think that a cold email needs to say everything. Then you need to actually explain yourself, who you are, what you do, about us. All this doesn't matter. Okay, your cold emails need to be anywhere between 50 to 70 words long. Okay, you're going to start with something like, hey name, we've recently helped XYZ company, or we've recently helped a similar brand to yours achieve this result. And, I think we can help you too. Is this worth exploring more? Like that is such a simple script says nothing about my business or whatever. This is specifically called the case study script, where I'm just literally referencing a case study that is relevant to them, and then just saying, do you want to achieve the same results? So that works as well. And there's a couple of other angles that I'm going to put in a separate video that you can use, but just make sure that you need to eliminate any unnecessary things. Like, people don't care about your business and who you are. Like, all they care about is them. And this goes into the next point, which is that you need to focus on them rather than yourself. Okay, so one of the mistakes that people do is that they focus, so you focus on you rather than the prospect. An easy way to think about this is that you need a ratio of 2-to-1 for the words you and I. So for every one time you use the word I, you need to use the word you twice. So you don't want to be talking about, I do this, I've helped so many brands achieve X result, I've been in the game for the past 10 years, like no one gives a shit. You need to talk about them. We can help you achieve XYZ, we can book more calls on your calendar to help you, double your revenue in the next 30 days. Like, it's all about you. It's all about the prospect, and it's all about tangible outcomes that you can get for your prospect. Okay, so the next thing is that it's usually irrelevant. Okay, people just write irrelevant scripts, and this also ties into a lack of market research, but you need to make sure this is actually relevant. And the only way to do that is by doing your market research. Like, step into your prospect's shoes. Imagine that you run their business, and just make sure it's relevant. Like, you need to pitch something that they actually care about. If you're talking to an e-com brand, make sure that you can actually help them improve something that is actually important to them. So maybe it's more sales, maybe it's more website visitors, maybe it's increasing their average order value. Maybe if they're running ads, it's increasing their ROAS. It needs to be something that is relevant to them. Okay. Now the next thing is that you have no clear offer. Okay. Most people don't have a clear offer. I have in brackets here 4 things, and these are the 4 components of a good offer. QER is quantifiable end result. So this is essentially, what exactly are you getting these people? Quantify it. How many calls, if you're a lead gen agency, are you helping these people book? It could be a range, okay, 5 to 10 calls. It could be 10 to 20 calls. If you're increasing some companies' ROAS, then like by how much are you increasing it? If you can get more website visitors, if you can increase conversion rates, like by how much can you do this? And then the next point is time. So in how long? You don't want to say we can book you 10 to 20 calls. That could mean in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months, like when is this going to happen? In the next 30 days. And then what is the guarantee? This basically acts like a risk reversal. So you're essentially answering all the what if questions here. Okay, what if he doesn't book 10 to 20 calls for me? What if he doesn't increase my conversions? So you're telling me you can increase my conversions by 50%. What happens if you increase by 43%? What if it's not 50? You need a guarantee. Your guarantee could come in many forms. It could be, so we'll continue working with you for free until we actually get that result. It could be a full refund. It could just be, you don't pay me if I don't get these results. And then the USP is just your unique selling point, which is just like how you're going to do it. Basically just the mechanism. So if I just combine everything together for a cold email lead gen agency, it would just be, we can book you 10 to 20 calls, which is the quantifiable end result, within 30 days, which is the time frame, using hyper-targeted cold email campaigns. That's the USP. And if we don't do it, we'll give you a full refund. Okay, that's what you need to actually create a good offer. So a template that you can use is just like, we can X your Y in Z days, or guarantee. Okay, using XYZ mechanism. Okay, the next thing is no social proof. So obviously you need to have social proof to include it, but if you have social proof, like by all means include it. I've literally, some of our best performing scripts have literally just been, hey, we've done XYZ for this company, we can do the same for you, do you want to get on a call? Like that works. Like social proof sometimes could be enough if it's relevant. Now, what's worth mentioning here is that if you have relevant social proof, then make sure you include the right case study. So let me just elaborate on that. So let's say you're targeting electricians. If you have an electrician case study, bad example, let's say you can help an e-com brand increase their return on ad spend. Like, don't talk about how you helped a real estate company, increase their return on ad spend, or any sort of other company. Just talk about how you helped an e-com brand, a company that is similar to yours. Okay, now if you have that. And then a bad CTA. Okay, and your CTA has to match certain criteria. Okay, it needs to be a question, it needs to be one clear ask, and it needs to be simple. That's basically what it needs to be. If you're ending your email by saying, let me know if that works, let me know how that sounds, I want to do XYZ for you, and then you just finish your email by saying thanks, looking forward to hearing back from you, like all these things don't work with cold email. You need to ask a question. So let's say I hit them with the offer. I then need to go and say, you could say something like, can I share a quick video explaining further? Any interest in learning more? Any interest in hearing some ideas that I had in mind for you, etc. Okay, it needs to be like something, just a quick question that is one simple ask and is obviously relevant to what you've been saying in the rest of your script. Okay, so your scripts need to match all these things here. Make sure you have some personalization, make sure it's not long, make sure, like the whole aim of cold email is to make your scripts as concise as possible without actually losing meaning. Okay, the fewer the words, the better. Focus on the prospect, don't focus on yourself. Make sure it's relevant, have a clear offer with a quantifiable end result in a given time frame with a guarantee, and explain your USP. Have some social proof and use a good CTA. Okay, third point, poor inbox management. Every second that passes after you get a response matters. The more you delay, the lower your chances are of getting a response. You need to respond to leads quickly, okay, within 5 to 10 minutes max. If you can do before 5 to 10 minutes, like earlier than that, quicker than that, then do it. Most people respond within a few hours, which usually leads to being ghosted. Okay, so let's say you send the initial email to someone. If he responds at 5 p.m., you need to respond to him in the next 5 to 10 minutes. These are cold audiences. You need to hit them back when they're warm. Okay, so the minute they respond and they ask for more information, or they ask to get on a call with you, or whatever, like make sure that you actually respond to them straight away. Okay, the cold email is just never going to work for you if you're running campaigns and you think you can just go and do whatever you want during the day and check your emails once a day. Like that's just not going to work. You need to have your emails open. You need to, set your reminders. You need to check your inbox every couple of minutes. Or if you have someone doing this for you, then once again, you just need to make sure that whoever is checking your inboxes is doing this in a way where they can respond to leads straight away. Okay, there's not really much to say here, but a massive mistake that most people do is just they have poor inbox management. Okay, it doesn't matter how good your scripts are, doesn't matter how good everything else is. If people are responding to you and you're just not responding back on time, you're just delaying too much. I see people even delaying or just responding the next day or whatever. Like you're just not going to get any responses. People are going to forget about you. So if someone responds to you now saying, I want to get on a call with you, it means he's clearly interested right now. Don't waste that opportunity. Respond to people quickly. Now, the fourth mistake is no follow-ups or too many follow-ups. Okay, so let me just move my face here. Okay, so you can't just send one email to someone and hope you're going to get a response. Okay, you need to have 2 to 3 touch points to maximize your chances of getting a response. Okay, look, it goes without saying that your first email is probably going to be the highest converting step within the sequence. So if you have a 3-step sequence, the first email is probably going to get the most conversions and just the most responses in general. The thing is though that some people, for whatever reason, are just not going to respond to the first email. Maybe they missed it, maybe it got lost in their inbox, maybe it just wasn't a good time. Like you need to actually remember that there are humans on the other side of your email who also have a busy schedule, and sometimes emails just get lost within their inbox, or maybe they didn't resonate with a certain angle of your scripts. So then you hit them with a follow-up using a different angle. So you just rephrase the offer in a different way. Okay, so you frame it differently, and then that could possibly get the response. Doesn't really make a difference if it's 2 or 3 touch points. I usually like to go for a 2-step sequence purely because usually 3, 4, and 5 just have a lower conversion rate. So if with the amount of inboxes you have, you can reach out to, you can send out a certain amount of emails every month. I just much rather have 2 touch points with every lead and contact more leads rather than reaching out to every single lead 5 times and reaching out to a lower number of individuals. Make sure you send enough follow-ups, so that don't just send one email, but at the same time, don't send too many. You don't need a 5, 7, 10 step sequence, okay? And there's 2 reasons for that. So the first reason is a lower conversion rate. Okay, so emails 1 and 2 usually have a higher conversion rate. People respond more to those emails. Like if someone hasn't responded to your first or second one, there's a high chance they're just not going to respond to you. Now, there is a possibility that they will, but it's what I said previously, which is that you're just better off contacting other leads rather than just reaching out to the same person 3, 4, 5 times. And the next thing is that you're increasing your chances of being marked as spam. Okay, maybe someone deliberately is just ignoring you. And if you reach out to him 3, 4, 5 times, he might just report you as spam. Okay, and you don't want that to happen. It's going to damage your deliverability, and then it's just a downfall from there. Okay, so the sweet spot is just 2. Now, the last mistake that most people make is they just have a poor technical setup. And the most common reason why people have a poor technical setup, okay, they either don't know what they're doing, which in that case, like fair enough, you obviously learn with practice and with more reps. But another reason is that a good setup usually costs more. So people just look for cheap solutions, and cheap solutions just leads to no results, no calls booked. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons why this happens. Okay, so first of all, your emails land in spam. Okay, if you have a poor technical setup, that will damage your deliverability, and you just won't land in your prospect's primary inbox. You're going to land in the promotions tab, in any other tab that they have, or just a spam folder. Okay, so where can people go wrong is, I'll take it from scratch. Okay, so first of all, they might not buy .com domains. You always want to buy a .com domain. You don't want to buy a .biz, .net, and or any other type of domain that you see out there. Like these get marked as spam more often. Plus, they're just not as credible. So you're not going to get that many responses. Probably like more likely that someone would think a .biz or a something else is spam rather than someone who has an actual .com domain. And second, like just buy it from a reliable source. Buy it from GoDaddy, buy it from Porkbun rather than just finding a random website and just buying a domain from there. And don't set up cheap email accounts. Like go for Google, go for Outlook. It's like $6, $7 per month per email account, but it's worth it. Don't use like resellers and all that stuff. Now, obviously, with the recent deliverability stuff that's going on with cold email, there are people who are trying out different types of email accounts, like setting them up with MailReef, MailForward. I've personally tried those. I'd say MailReef is the best. Like at the end of the day, you can try it out. But at this point, I would probably go for something like Google Outlook for sure. You could do either 50-50 Google Outlook, or you could go for 1/3 Google, 1/3 Outlook, and 1/3 like MailReef or something. It's one of the better ones. But the point here is just don't buy cheap domains, don't buy cheap email accounts, spend the extra couple dollars. It's going to make a big difference. Now, the next mistake is that they usually don't configure DNS settings correctly. So make sure you set up your DKIM records, SPF, and DMARC. You need these 3 specifically: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Make sure you set these up correctly. Make sure you warm up your email accounts for 14 days. The reason why you do this is just to warm up and just basically strengthen the domain's reputation before you actually start with your outbound emails and your cold emails. You can do this through SmartLead automatically or instantly or whatever other bulk sending tool you use. I'll recommend you go with SmartLead here. Don't include any links in your emails. Once again, this also goes back to the scripts, but it's a technical issue here, which is that when you include a link in your email, that just damages deliverability. You want to make sure that all your emails are plain text. Check for spam words. You can do this through SmartLead specifically. I'm not sure if you can do it through any other, like if you can do it through Instantly and all that stuff. I don't really use those tools. I use SmartLead, and I know that you can check for spam words. These could be words like free or, like just like stuff like that. Don't use those type of words in your emails. Okay, so the next mistake that people make is that they don't add enough spin tags. If you don't know what spin tags is, it's basically what you can see in the curly brackets next to no spin tags. Hey, hi, and hello. Basically what you want to do and what the point of this is that you add alternatives to a specific word, and the sending tool that you use is going to send one email saying, for example, hey, one email saying hi, one email saying hello. And the point of this is to make sure that you're not sending the exact same email 20 times a day from a specific email account. Okay, so if you do this throughout your entire script, okay, just saying hey, hi, hello is not enough. You need to actually do this for every single section of your script. Okay, any word that you can spin tags, any word that you can you can spin basically. So for example, the word calls, we can book you 10 to 20 calls. Could be we can book you 10 to 20 meetings, 10 to 20 demos. And once again, you would just basically split it exactly like this in the brackets, and you would split every alternative with a vertical line. Okay, and you need to add a lot of this, and it just makes sense. Okay, if you're just sending the exact same email 100 times a day from one email account, it's going to get marked as spam. Okay, it's very important. And the final thing here is just too many emails being sent per inbox per day. So you need to scale horizontally. What that means is just buy more domains, set up more email accounts, and send fewer emails per email account. I'd recommend you send anywhere between 20 to 25 cold emails, excluding warm-ups, okay? 20 to 25 cold emails per day per inbox. Okay, so if you want to send 1,000 emails a day, just in general, like split that over 10, 20, 30, 40 email accounts, spend more on domains, on email accounts, create more, and lower your sending volume per email account, okay? You don't want to be sending 50, 100 emails per inbox per day. Once again, you're just going to get marked as spam. This is probably the most crucial thing when it comes to cold email in 2024. This is what most people struggle with, and it's the technical setup. And I actually have a whole video which goes over what exactly you need to do for the technical setup, so you're definitely covered deliverability wise. But this is just where people go wrong. Okay, cheap domains, cheap email accounts, they don't set up SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. They don't warm up their email accounts correctly because they're impatient, or they just don't know about it, or whatever. They include links in their emails. They don't check for spam words. They don't add spin tags. And they just send too many emails because they're just being stingy and they don't want to spend a few extra dollars to set up more inboxes. These are the 5 biggest mistakes when it comes to cold email in 2024. Just to recap, we have a poor technical setup. We have no follow-ups or too many follow-ups, poor inbox management, bad scripts, and lack of market research. If you can do everything that I've mentioned throughout this video, you will 100% be covered with all these things. Okay, do your market research, make sure you know who you're reaching out to. That's the only way for you to actually write a relevant script and to build an accurate lead list. Okay, make sure that your scripts are personalized, they're short, straight to the point, they're relevant, you have a clear offer, you have social proof. Make sure you manage your inbox correctly, respond to leads quickly within 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. 2-step sequence, okay, that's literally all you need to know from this slide. Have a 2-step sequence, 2 touch points with every lead. Place a lot of emphasis on the technical setup. So these are the 5 mistakes when it comes to cold email and how exactly you can solve them.
So there you have it. These are the 5 worst cold email mistakes that people are making in 2024 and how you can fix them. You can now take a look at your own outreach, fix all the mistakes that I pointed out in this video, and be on your way to booking consistent sales calls, right? Well, not exactly. Cold email is a full-time job in of itself, and as a business owner, you've got other high leverage things that you could be doing. You don't want to spend all your time building hyper-targeted lead lists, writing personalized scripts, and managing your inboxes, which is the stuff that really matters for cold email in 2024. So if you want us to help you scale your business and book you 10 to 20 qualified sales calls within the next 30 days, then click on the first link in the description. Once you're on there, just watch the video, book a call with me if you want to start booking meetings on autopilot, or don't. It's up to you. Regardless, I'll see you in the next one.